Welcome back to the Racial Draft Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terrell Ford III, and I am joined by illustrious guest this week, the captain of the multiracial delegation, Frankia. Say what's up to the people.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I'm having a great week. How about you?
We're also joined by the captain of the white delegation, Shaun.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm also having a great week.
Very good, very good. It was a fun week. It was a fun weekend for comic fans. We had the DC Fandome event, the virtual convention, and I must say, it pretty much went off without a hitch. If you're a DC fanboy or fangirl and you're looking to get hyped, I mean, I can't imagine what they could have fallen short of presenting to you. We're gonna, talk about a little bit about that before we dive into our racial draft shenanigans. What would you say, Shaun, was the high point of the Fandome event for you?
The fact that I'm getting a Dick Grayson video game that is packaged as a multiplayer Bat Family game.
That is the
dream.
That was the Gotham Knights video game. Hopefully, you guys will check out the trailer. It looked amazing. It was Nightwing, Red Robin, Red Hood, and Batgirl all doing their thing in the video game. I'm not even a big video game fan, and I was hyped up. I might watch the trailer again after the show ends. Kia, did you catch that trailer?
Yes, I did. And I was just pretty hyped. It looked dark. It looked awesome. I loved it.
Cool. And, obviously that has slight racial draft implications because two of the characters in the Gotham Knights game are represented in our draft. You have Nightwing with the Asian delegation, and you have Barbara Gordon in the white delegation. So, but, as it stands, Shaun didn't get his hands on Nightwing, and let's face it, a lot of people get their hands on Nightwing. So Kia, what was the highlight of the Fandome event for you?
I would have to say Wonder Woman coming out with 1984. Yes, I was really excited about that. I watched the trailer numerous times, and we were talking about just adding different races and whatnot to our characters, and I think I just really picked the perfect one. What do you think, Mike? Did you see
there wasn't a ton of diversity in the way that the trailer came to us exactly, from the 1984 version, but I have a pretty active imagination, so I went ahead and put my racial draft glasses on and imagined Wonder Woman as multiracial. And then of course, when we saw Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, she was definitely giving off big Karen vibes. So, that added another dimension to her character's motivation. As far as I'm concerned, she's the Karen of 1984, the pro Karen.
It is official DC canon now. Karens are furries.
Furry Karen.
I love it.
Now I love the Cheetah casting. For me, I love the Wonder Woman trailer, but I also love the trailer for the Batman. I knew that Matt Reeves was super enthusiastic about what he was doing. He spoke so glowingly about his process, and he said, they'd only shot about 20% of the movie, but he hit us with a trailer that, man, I went to bed like it was the morning time, if you know what I mean. So I'm hyped for Batman. I'm a big Batman fan, but I want to see the direction that he takes the character. I would have to say that the most brutal moment of the trailer is when the criminal asks him who he is, and instead of giving the old school "I'm Batman," he answers with about, I don't know, 27 minutes of beatdown. What do you think, Shaun? How long did Batman beat that guy down?
Oh, it went numerous panels. We cut away to other characters, came back. He is just getting so many points stacking up here.
Hey, Tom, you're coming in a little bit low. Do you mind adjusting your levels a little bit?
Does that help?
Shaun?
Can you hear me?
Barely. For some reason, you're coming in a little low. I'll see if I can maybe adjust you on my end. Did you happen to catch that trailer for Batman?
Yes, I did, and it was. I mean, it was dark. I mean, other one who's like, who are you?" And they're like, "I am vengeance." And I'm like, oh, who's your daddy now? Like, I just love the excessive force, like, which is weird. I probably shouldn't have said that. Oh my god. I probably shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of excessive force in real life. I want to point that out now. I'm only in the movies. Only in the movies. I just want to.
I don't believe there were any. I don't believe there were any goons that were black. So, as far as we know, Batman is not racist. So, he is vengeance, but he is equal opportunity beatdowns.
Okay, yeah, but excessive force. I just want to point out again. I do not want to see myself on Twitter, or have certain people be like, "Oh, Kia said she likes excessive force, huh?" And then, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that. The other highlight of the trailer was making the Riddler menacing as fuck, right? Like, he was giving me Seven vibes. What do you guys? What did you think about that, Shaun?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I've never seen Seven. That is the thing everybody is throwing out, and I'm like, I've never seen that movie. So
Next time we talk, you have to see Seven so that the reference makes sense. What do you think about the Riddler, Kia?
I was just like, this is just gonna be good. Like, I can't wait. Like, I thought initially, I thought like, oh, they're probably gonna kind of make the Riddler like the same as they've done before, blah blah blah. But no, looks different. I'm intrigued. I can't wait.
And one of the funny things that stood out for me is that the trailer ends, and we've been going through whatever we've been going through with Corona in terms of knowing when movies are coming out, and the fact that it starts out with a question mark for when the movie's coming out, I was like, yeah, that's about right. Out in question mark 21. Yeah, I mean, the Riddler is the perfect supervillain for our uncertain times.
Was the Riddler drafted?
He has not been drafted, but he also hasn't
Mm.
very much in the books recently. I mean, that could change in the next couple months. So maybe season 2, especially as we get closer to the movie, I'm sure they're going to want to push the Riddler. And I know there have been people who've talked about what if the Riddler was something other than white. So I would definitely be open to it. Did you guys catch any of the Suicide Squad stuff?
Yes. What did you think about it, Shaun? You go first.
exact same reaction. What excited me the most, like you were talking about Matt Reeves talking about the Batman, that for me was James Gunn talking about Suicide Squad. He somehow described it as superheroes meets a genre we quite haven't seen, which is like the 70s war film. And I'm just like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Oh, yes. And I saw my girl Harley Quinn, doing her shit. Ah.
Yeah, I don't.
But honestly, sorry to interrupt. But honestly, I could totally see Cardi B as Harley V or whatever, however we did it. But I could totally see Cardi B being Harley Quinn, the way we like grew up and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you did your little draft that way. And Harley is an amazing character, and and Cardi is an amazing character. I imagine that Harley has her own WAP, right? So yeah, I mean,
He just literally said that. Yes, you did. It took me a little bit. I was like, no, he didn't. Did he really? Yes, he did.
and yeah, so we both got a Suicide Squad little sort of behind the scenes teaser, and there's also a Suicide Squad video game, which I actually missed the trailer for. Did you catch it, Shaun?
I caught it. For me, like both the video games are the highlights for me. I thought this trailer was like one of the best things to come out of it. It's got a great humor,
Mm-hmm.
and like we didn't see any actual gameplay, but we saw the way the characters fought in the trailer. And if you're able to emulate that, like Deadshot had like a jetpack and he was like flying up a wall and like burning creatures on the wall with it. You could somehow do that in the video game. That would be remarkable.
Oh, cool. Did you catch the trailer, Kia?
Not for the game. No, I did not.
Okay.
But yeah, the movie though, I am there for it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I'm gonna go order some gourmet popcorn.
And that cast is so star-studded. Like they just kept racking up names. They kept calling them out. And
Yeah.
like, man,
What's that guy from SNL? I saw him too.
yeah. Getting his name now.
You know, he's like the king of Staten Island. Yeah.
Oh, Pete
Yeah,
Davidson.
Ariana. Yeah, he got dumped by Ariana Grande. Yeah, I could not say that.
He went from, you know what, I'm not going to say what I was going to say about his
Went from a little guy to a big.
I was going to talk about the fact that he's in the Suicide Squad. But I'll leave it alone.
Oh, you're going to make a joke about I got you. I mean,
I made the joke then, didn't I? But anyway,
I got it though.
The other highlights were Black Adam, the long-awaited. Do you know that the Rock was cast as Black Adam back in, I believe, 2004?
Really?
Well, no, I think it might be 2008. Sorry, but it's been.
I think it's 7.
2007. Yeah.
I think. Okay, I'm going off what Task said, and I'm pretty sure he said 13 years, so that would be 2007.
But yeah, so it's over a decade he's been waiting to do this movie, and he's just been getting bigger and bigger. So, I mean, hopefully next year when we get Black Adam, he'll be ready to.
The entire MCU happened
Right
after he got cast.
So, I mean, The Rock is really enthusiastic about it. He didn't offer us.
I'm really enthusiastic about The Rock.
I can imagine. The Rock is quite the specimen. And, you know, Black Adam, he hasn't really popped up that much in comic storylines as of late. But I also imagine that as his movie gets closer and closer, he'll get a big storyline. What's another thing that we saw? We saw a little bit about Shazam, who in the comics is Black Adam's arch rival, but they're keeping them away from each other in the movies, it looks like. They didn't give us a lot. They gave us the official title, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Did you guys catch the little teaser from Shazam? Shaun?
I didn't. I'm actually quite mad at the Snyder Cut because I was watching and then the Snyder Cut came on and then I fell asleep and I missed so many presentations because of the freaking Snyder Cut.
Oh, well, the Snyder Cut has a way of taking over the energy, monopolizing the discussion. I mean, for its part, I actually did think the Snyder Cut trailer that they gave us, with questionable music choices aside, gave me a little something to think about. It's supposed to be 4 hours long. Are you gonna watch a superhero movie for 4 hours, Kia?
Yeah, with gourmet popcorn.
So I mean, as I think Zack Snyder is probably going to want to put every single one of the ideas that he had for this movie into it. It never would have gone out to the theaters at 4 hours. So it's not what one would call a true Snyder cut. It's more like Snyder uncut. But I mean, I've got Disney, not Disney. I've got a HBO Max, so I'll fire up an hour each week as it comes out and see if it's any good. But
because you have HBO Max, we have HBO Max. This is exciting.
Exactly, Shaun. What are you watching your HBO stuff on?
I don't have HBO because this thing called Crave has a monopoly on HBO in Canada, and you basically have to pay like $35 to $40 a month to get access to the HBO package through Crave. I ain't got that for a single subscription.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, do you get?
So I was gonna ask, like, do you use something else? Hmm?
We will not talk about other means of.
Lovecraft Country is amazing. That should answer your question.
Now, Shaun, did you catch a glimpse of the new costume for the Flash?
I didn't.
Yeah, there was some. They showed some. What's it called? Concept art for the new.
Okay. What does it look like?
It looks like an actual Flash costume. Wouldn't you know it? It doesn't look like he's just wearing parts of metal on his body. And apparently, one thing that I had suggested a while back is that Bruce Wayne make his costume, and it sounds like that's what's going to happen. So,
so they're essentially making Batman is Tony Stark to Flash's Spider-Man.
Right, exactly. I mean, in many ways, it really felt like.
But he's getting all the Batmans because he's getting Michael Keaton and he's getting Ben Affleck.
Yeah, he's getting multiple Batman mentors.
Could you imagine it's just like Into the Spider-Verse, right? But it's all Batman, and then there's just one Flash in there, and he's like, "Isn't this my movie?"
Yeah, Into the Flash Bat verse. Yeah, it should be all the Batman. Robert Pattinson should appear as well. The guy from the animated cartoon should appear as well, and yeah, just one Flash. Because you don't know you're in another universe until Batman shows up. Is basically how it works. One of the news stories that was probably closest to my heart was the return of Milestone Media. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and Milestone, when it kicked off in the 90s, kind of really opened up my eyes when it comes to diversity in comics. So to see them kind of relaunching the line in early 2021, I was a little bit too old for the Static Shock cartoon, but to hear a lot of people tell it, they loved it, and it's good to hear that they're thinking about doing a Static Shock live action and animated movie for that character. Well, the character of Static, but Static Shock was a cartoon. And yeah, I mean, I got, like, for me, it was more about the overall Milestone news more so than just Static, but I'm enthusiastic. I want to see where they go. They showed a little bit of sample covers. Did you catch any of that, Shaun?
I did. I don't have a lot to say on Milestone. It's not something I'm super familiar with, but two things. One, you were too old for the cartoon. I was too young for the cartoon. It was out of syndication by the time I came around.
Oh, I see.
And what's going on with Jaden Smith? Because he's been attached to be Static forever. Do you not remember when they were making a project with him?
I don't. I'm not even sure. I'm not even familiar with that actor.
Will Smith's son.
Oh, Jaden Smith.
Yeah. He was attached at one point. It was going to be a web series.
Yes, now that you mentioned it, I do remember that. I imagine.
So he got screwed, or I don't know if he's still in the running.
Maybe he just got into an entanglement.
Oh. Happy August, everyone. But
hey, Will, what month is it? August. Okay, sorry.
But one thing that did come up in the announcement is that DC is planning to put all of its old Milestone stuff up on its digital platforms. So for those of you who don't remember Milestone, you'll have the opportunity to kind of get familiar and try not to be too hard on it, because it was the 90s after all.
Who came out of it outside of Static? Because that's the only name I know.
Well, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with Young Justice, the show.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
So the character of Icon and Rocket, they are also from the Milestone universe. There's another character named Hardware, who I believe appeared on a couple episodes of Young Justice. Character named Holocaust/Pyre. I can't remember which name he went by on Young Justice. He was also on that. Yeah, there were. not as many characters really kind of caught on the way Static did. So I would say that unless you were part of like the old school milestone heads that were reading the comic, it's probably going to be either like Static or Icon. And I think that, well, there were, a couple here and there news.
There was one other thing, because I wanted to ask you a question, see if you have the answer to this. The Gotham PD show that's coming out, they described the main character as somebody who has family ties to the corruption in Gotham, which means they have ties to the Wayne, and they are trying to navigate what it is to be a cop in a city of vigilantism. Who is that? Like, the one I'm thinking right off the top of my mind is Renee Montoya, because she might become the Question. But do the Montoya family have any connection to that?
I didn't think that they were saying that they had connections to the Waynes per se. I also imagine that they're going to use a brand new character just to kind of hide the ball a little bit. For those of you who don't know, there was a show that was meant to be debuting on HBO Max, and they gave us some more details about it because Matt Reeves, who was doing the Batman movie, has mentioned that the show is going to exist in its world. So whereas this movie, The Batman, will take place in Batman's second year, this show will take place in Batman's first year. So he'll still be kind of an unknown commodity, and it will kind of explore a little bit more about what's happening in the dirty, corrupt trenches of Gotham City, where this new figure is starting to rear his head. I'm looking forward to that as well. I wonder what the timeline of that will be. Like, I wonder if the movie will come out before the show, and then it'll kind of be more of a prequel, or if they'll time it so that you actually watch the show and then it leads into the movie, which I would probably prefer the latter.
I think they'll do that because, like, I imagine, think about the production on something like Westworld, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could time that so that each season of Gotham PD, let's call it Gotham Central, it's the best title, would lead into a movie season. So maybe this is year one, then we see year two, then the next season is year three. Because, like, honestly, what I want from the show is to eventually show all of Gotham. I don't really care about the cops. Show me how it's affecting people who could eventually become Bat Family.
Yeah, but I think I hear what you're saying, but I mean, cop shows have their place, especially if they're going to explore a little bit more complexity in the department, especially in a city like Gotham. Like what I hated about the old Gotham TV show from Fox, I say old, but it's only from like 8 years ago, is that I grew up as a huge fan of The Wire, and I imagined them trying to get really deep into the corruption of institutions in Gotham, the way that The Wire did for Baltimore. And obviously I was disappointed, as it didn't do any of that. But now that HBO's involved, who knows?
And also, I think it is a named character, because why would you tease character details if it was a new character, you know?
Maybe.
Why would you tease a character if it's just somebody brand new?
That's a good point. We'll just have to see. We'll see what kind of details start to trickle out.
I mean, somebody exploring the corruption of the Gotham PD sounds like the Question.
Yeah, but I guess she's you can be a little older, right? I guess I always imagine her being a little close to the same age as Batman, if not younger. But they could figure that out, I suppose. The other big story that came out of the weekend, which was less of a news and more of confirmation of things that we already knew were coming, is that John Ridley, the guy who wrote 12 Years a Slave and had been attached to a number of Marvel projects, he has a DC project. He has a DC project that's due to come out in November. I forget the name of it, but I'll get it in a second. But in addition to this DC project that's coming out in November, he also has a Batman title that's coming out in 2021, and it's going to focus on the Fox family, Lucius Fox, and the rest of their children. Are you familiar with Lucius Fox, Frankia? Kia? Oh, did we lose Kia? I don't know. All right, so I'll give it a sec to see if we can get Kia back. But yeah, so the book that John Ridley was working on is called The Other History of the DC Universe. So I'm looking forward to both that title and this Batman title. And one of the things being teased in this was the idea that this Batman, whoever becomes the Batman in this title, will be a person of color. So we may get our first Black Batman, or maybe even Asian Batman, like we have in the racial draft. Which I think is probably a good time to transition to our talk. Since we last spoke, we missed you guys last week. Apologies on my end, but since we last spoke, there have been 2 weeks of action, and I may as well run down the scores. Shaun, if you're, feel free to offer your commentary about the scoring for the last week. Once again, the number one team last week was the multiracial delegation with 92 points, led by Wonder Woman yet again with 27 points.
Whoa, 27 points again? She got 27 points again?
This is week 3 we're talking about last week.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there was 92 points for the multiracial team led by Wonder Woman's 27 points. Wonder Woman, another dominating performance. 27 points for Wonder Woman, 17 points for Captain Marvel, 15 points for Harley Quinn. Big scores, outscoring. Some of her single players were outscoring entire teams. Additionally, the second place squad, if you will, was the Latinx team with 45 points, led by 24 points. So more than half of the points came from Superman. Other than that, it was Black Panther with 8 points and Sue Storm with 5 points. So it was a little bit of disappointing performance for the next team. The third place performer last week was the Asian team. And speak of the Batman, 25 points out of their 44 points were scored last week by Batman. And their second scorer was Emma Frost, and a whole bunch of very low scores for their 44-point total. Kia, do you want to talk a little trash about how you mopped people last week with your 92 points compared to more points than the other two teams combined?
I mean, points speak for itself. I'm just saying, hopefully in season 2 there will be some competition. I'm just looking for anybody to compete with. Just a little bit. But I'm just happy that what I was trying to do in this whole draft, it's worked. It's panned out.
Well, stay tuned for more about that. I'll quickly run down the other scores. Shaun, last week you scored 26 points, led by the Flash. The next scoring team was, I believe, the Polynesian team, who had scored 15 points, led by Storm. There was the Jewish team, who scored 14 points, led by Supergirl.
Killing it, Supergirl. Sorry.
The Black team scored 13 points, led by Reverse Flash. The Blacks.
Who?
The Black team. And I think last place last week was the Native American team. Oh, I'm sorry. The Polynesian team outscored the Black team with 15 points. Oh no, I already said 15 points, led by Storm. Yes. So last place was the Native American team. Their top
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
their top scorer was the Hulk. This week, though, this week,
Can we get a drum roll? Like, we need like some sound effects up in here.
well, yes, we do. This week was more domination by the multiracial team. 124 points. That's right. We have our first 100-point week. Shaun, were you astounded when you saw that number?
I mean, not astounded, but impressed. Impressed is the word I would use.
Okay. Well, led by 25 points for Wonder Woman. Led by 32 points for Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Then
Sorry.
5 points by Wonder Woman, then 19 points by Captain Marvel, then 19 points by Captain America, then 11 points by Catwoman. You had 5 double-digit scorers on your team.
And the majority of them, if not, no, aside from, Captain America, were women. I mean, that's one thing the teams, didn't really want to do is pick women, and look at them. I mean, look at what happens.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And now the second place performer was the Asian team. They put up a respectable 57 points. Now 32 of their 57 points were scored by the Batman. Other than that, there were 8 points by Nightwing, so more Bat family. 4 points by the Winter Soldier, Marvel's version of Nightwing, and a lot of low scores after that. Iron Man only put up 5 points, which is not what you want out of a second round pick. The next scoring team was the Latinx team. They were surprisingly, their top scorer this week was Thor.
Oh, he was like doing nothing for a while. He was just like on his own program, and then he just came out and said, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, tell me about it. He came out, he destroyed Galactus in his book and turned his head into a castle. So Thor did work. Number 2 scorer this week was Doctor Strange, who successfully, was it 14 million mutant zombies, Shaun, that Doctor Strange got rid of?
I want to say 16, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it might be 16 million. So
he pulled the weight, though. He did all the heavy work. Scarlet Witch kind of just followed him around, because if there's anything an event has to do, it's kick the Scarlet Witch.
That's right. And their third scorer was Aquaman. Remember him?
Shut the front door.
Aquaman gave them 8 points.
So, Shaun, were you surprised when this happened? Did you see it? Did you read it? Like, what happened?
It's all right. We were just like, he's talking to 7 fish. Let's just give him 7 points. He needs it.
Now, our 4th place team.
But no Namor? Just wanted to ask real quick.
No, weirdly enough, Aquaman has been destroying Namor in the points category.
Oh, okay. Just double checking.
Our 4th place team seems to be the perennial 4th place team, the white delegation. Shaun?
This is by design. I called it from the beginning. I was like, I'm here for the creative aspect, but I can't not play the game. This is where I'm fitting in. I'm quite cozy, and I'm quite happy about it. And I'd like to see the other teams come from me.
Well. I mean, the fact that, like, can we just, like, applaud Shaun? Because, like, he really didn't try all that hard, and look at him at 4th place. That's pretty amazing.
I mean, isn't that a microcosm of whiteness, though?
Yeah.
I only fail up.
Facts.
But yeah, your top scorers were also women.
Really? Not the Flash?
Barbara Gordon and Punchline both put up 10 points out of your 36 points.
Punchline is the joke that just keeps on giving.
Maybe we should talk to the Native American team about, women representing women on their team. Just saying.
So the next scoring team was the Jewish team, Annie, led by Apocalypse, who gave the team 7 points.
Nice.
And She-Hulk, who gave the team 5 points.
Go She-Hulk.
And Moon decided to show up. Unfortunately, after his dominating pre-scoring week, where he took out all the Avengers by himself, he only put up 4 points in this second appearance. But again, it's a lot more points than some other teams have been able to muster with their characters. Speaking of people who've struggled to put up points, we have the Native American team who put up 20 points this week, led by, wait for it, Poison Ivy.
Wow. Shut the front door. And to think he was pressured into actually picking a woman. I mean,
out of 20, 14 points out of 20 was Poison Ivy. And the other 6 points came from the Hulk, which is on brand, really on brand.
Is the Hulk really doing much? Like, I thought the Hulk would be doing more.
Yeah, Michael, is the Hulk really doing much this week?
I mean, it's surprising. It's surprising that the Hulk isn't doing more. But thank God that there's a Maestro book. Who's the Hulk if he got a little smart and lost everything.
I mean, it makes sense that you would track this book, though. I mean, it's written by Peter David, right? This is Peter David again?
Yes, it's Peter David.
He's arguably, but not really, the definitive Hulk scribe of all time.
He might be. He introduced a lot of elements in the Hulk mythos. And a lot of the things that people look back on and say that they loved about, if they ever did read a Hulk book, it was probably a Peter David book.
It's like him and Greg Pak, I would say. Those two.
Yeah. And so beyond that, we have surprisingly not a last place finish out of the Black delegation, who gave us 16 points, led by 10 points for the Joker, 5 points for Galactus, in probably his last appearance in a long time after being thoroughly walloped by Thor, and 1 point for Thanos, who he might be killing Thor. So it remains to be seen. There was the final shot of the Thor comic was Thanos with Mjolnir, with the Infinity Gems on Mjolnir, with an army of dead superheroes behind him. So who knows? Maybe maybe the Black team will make up for the loss of Galactus with some Thanos action. And bringing up the rear this week with 10 points is the Polynesian team, led by, surprisingly, Namor. Welcome to the party, Namor. You gave them 4 points. Scarlet Witch
Hell has freezed over. Holy shit. Oh my gosh.
4 points for Namor, 4 points for Scarlet Witch, and 2 points for Raven. And so that's how things went down in the fourth week. For those of you who are tracking the cumulative scoring, I will work our way from the bottom. 35 points for the Black delegation cumulatively. 39 points for the Polynesian team.
That's going to be a good fight. I'm interested to see how that plays out.
I agree. Another great fight is the fact that there are 2 teams tied with 59. That's the Native American team and the Jewish team.
Oh, that's going to be a really good fight. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 delegations have so much in common that, one has a Hulk, one has a She-Hulk, one has Jean Grey, one has Shades of Grey. So it's going to be a fight. The fight that won't be a fight is for 4th place, because I feel like that's just all Shaun with 106 points.
Killing it.
It's lovely here.
Right there in the middle, right? right in that mediocre zone.
Yep,
The
just
Manitoba, if you would.
Now, another big fight is going to be between the Latinx and the Asian team, where right now the Asian team has 210 points and the Latinx team has 195 points. But
Last week that was flipped though. Week 3 that was flipped. So like,
yeah, it's very close.
yeah. I'm just over here fighting air, but you know, it's all good.
Yeah, up on top, way, all the way up.
The
300,
way I like it.
385 points for the Latinx. For the multiracial team.
Am I like allowed to just give out points? Like, you know, I feel like I have a little bit of, I have some extra.
I think you should just share it with me though, you know? Like just keep me in my comfort zone.
I
But
think
just
you should. Yeah,
a little
like,
bit more.
yeah, just if you need it, I'll give it to you.
I just want to say that Wonder Woman by herself has put up 120 points.
That is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
That is insane.
Is it though? Is it though?
Himself.
And
Yeah,
16
because you would expect it to be Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, well, I just want to say, and I got her on like the sixth. She was number 16, 16th, not 16th round, but 16th pick, right? Wonder Woman.
Yes. Batman by himself put up 115 points so far. So he's in there as far as the overall point scoring MVP. Let's see who is the number 3 point scorer. My guess is going to be Superman.
Not the Crow.
You ever seen the movie The Iron Giant?
I have not. I'm familiar with it, I haven't seen it.
Superman is the answer you're looking for.
79 points for Superman. So he's
trailing.
I know. What happened?
What a bit.
And beyond that, look at this. So many scorers, so many top scorers on the multiracial team. You have with 58 points, Harley Quinn. With 57 points, Captain America. With 54 points, Captain Marvel.
Damn.
All on one team. A veritable juggernaut, considering the fact that the juggernaut has not scored any points.
Maybe I'll pick the Juggernaut for this round.
No, the juggernaut's been picked. He just hasn't.
Oh.
I was gonna be like, yeah, give me the down low. Who should I be drafting?
Well, after I meditate, I'll let you know.
But that does give us a good segue into the next discussion. Drum roll. Round 13 is upon us. That's right. We thought it was just going to be 12 rounds. There's actually going to be a 13th round. In the order that I named the cumulative score, from worst to first, we will be doing a 13th round this week. So if you're listening, watch us on social media, watch us on various platforms. Each team will have the opportunity to make an extra pick, a bonus pick, and try to see whether they can win some of these races that they have. Obviously, no one's going to overtake Kia, but in terms of the battle for second and the battle for last and the battle for mediocrity, these battles are going to be heating up. And the 13th, who knows, these 13th picks might be the difference between falling off and falling up. Now, Shaun,
Sean's like, I'm going to definitely fall up because that's just what I do.
Now, Shaun, since you're our FCL guru, talk a little bit about what you've seen as far as trends in the Fantasy Comics League.
Okay, I'm going to speak from DC perspective for a moment because this is all new data to me. First off, the Green Lantern family, powerhouse. Those rings can do anything. That's points on points on points, just stacking on that little ring. It's pretty great. Again, the Bat family, especially after the stellar Bat showing at the DC Fandome. If at least one Bat family doesn't get picked, I'm disappointed in the other 7 captains.
I agree. I agree. There's been a lot of big performances from the Bat family. Most notably, actually, I won't say most notably, but there's been some strong weeks out of Batwoman.
Yeah, Batwoman's been doing good. Um, some
Maybe she needs to get a heel team.
surprising scores for me. Like this is based off last week because I haven't finalized mine for this week. But on the villain side, Lobo's killing it. Lobo's doing quite good.
I mean, Lobo's one of those characters that a lot of people love, and he has a strong following, but he's kind of dipped as of late in the last few years. He hasn't been up at the heights that he was in the 90s, late 90s and the early 2000s. So it's good to see him get a little bit of a resurgence.
And again, I would like looking at Krakoa. Again, it's a crapshoot. You never know what's gonna happen. I had Cyclops on my team, expecting him to be my best mutant this month, and I think he's my worst. He hasn't done anything this month so far in regards to Empire.
Yeah, I think he's been off planet for Empire, right?
I thought he was off planet for like the first like day of it, but like it's going on for a while. Like especially by if we're using the Captain Marvel book as judge, it's been going on for a few days. It seems like.
And that's the DC side of things. What do you think is? I mean, I guess you jumped from DC to Marvel. Are there any other things about DC that you want to point out that some of the drafters might want to look out for?
No, like I said, you're looking at that Bat family, you're looking at that Green Lantern family, and the Flash family, like Kid Flash, Wallace West, good one to be looking at. Jay Garrick has been popping up all over the place, and like all of his appearances over the last 3 weeks have just been set up for what he's going to be doing in these coming issues, which are on their way. So Jay Garrick might be like a surprise killer pick.
Now, I should give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the bane of your existence, aka death metal. The floor is yours, sir.
Everybody's in it. I don't know what else to say. Like, yeah, you sit down to look at an issue of death metal, and it's like, well, I got 2 hours I need to kill, I guess, on this one issue. Thank you, Scott Snyder. The biggest thing that I want to say about death metal is the fact that Deathbringer makes no sense in it. Donna Troy is showing up in it, and she was turned into Deathbringer for this event, but she's been showing up in her regular Amazonian self.
That is weird. That is very weird. Now, one character that I've been seeing showing up fair enough that has been surprising is Shuri.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if it will continue, but she's out there.
Like at this point, you kind of want characters that might be more surprising. Like I don't think at this point you're gonna get a like as in Ron are not gonna get a character that's gonna put them into Franquia's league. So you guys they're kind of competing with each other. So don't pick a one appearance character. Pick somebody that's got like 3 or 4 appearances. There are still plenty of those on the table.
Yeah, I mean there definitely is a lot that can happen on the DC side of things. I think when I looked at the numbers, the 75% of our characters were drafted out from Marvel. So I think that may skew things in terms of what's available. Kia, you're just sitting there in the catbird seat watching everyone else pick each other off.
Yeah, it's pretty comfortable, you know. Like I just I hope that they make videos with just all my characters, and maybe we'll sing a little Queen song. We are the champions, my friends.
I would say that thus far, your biggest disappointments have been Magneto and Mystique.
Don't say that, because they still have time, don't they, Shaun? Didn't you say they had time? They were gonna like come in, or maybe Magneto at least.
Magneto's gonna be doing something this week because he's got his X-Men issue.
See?
So there you
Don't
go.
That
talk
could mean
shit about
nothing,
them.
though. That could be him sitting on the council and making a lot of decisions.
Well,
Does he get a point for making decisions?
He does.
Okay, well then that's good for me. As long as he did something. He is a boss.
Yeah, I mean, but when you got people like Harley Quinn putting up 30-point weeks out of nowhere, whew, just
Watch it be Mystique doesn't bring down Krakoa. She brings down Frakia.
just so you know, there were 96 picks in this draft, and Harley Quinn and Catwoman were 48 and 49, and they have between the two of them 112. No, sorry, 112 points. Yes.
That's greater than my team. That's greater than everybody who came to play creatively, mostly.
So your work is cut out for you, people. But so if you're a fan, if you're, the picks are gonna take shape over the next couple of days. So hit us up, hit all the captains up, hit up Racial Draft Pod on Twitter, and make it known. If speak your delegation, and let us know who you'd like to see be come into the fold, or sort of.
Yeah, especially as the multiracial team. We'll listen to what you got to say. Like, I'm up for any suggestions.
Well, I definitely have a suggestion, but I'm not going to give it on the podcast, considering that you will be the 8th pick of the draft. I mean, of the round.
Yes, you guys are welcome for that. Welcome.
There's another captain that's just sitting there waiting to snipe somebody's picks. But,
I already know who I'm going for.
Really, who?
I mean, it's pretty broadcasted over my history.
Wait. It's the one that he really, really wanted, and nobody picked it. Wait.
Yep, nobody picked it, and nobody remembers what it is, and we're just going to leave it there.
Okay.
I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to make sure that when the pick happens, that all the gifts are ready. But other than that, I mean, we talked a little bit. Guys, you have anything else that you'd like to talk to the people about?
Shaun?
Oh, I wanted to say this forever ago when we were talking about Karens. Did you know they're making a horror movie called Karen, and it's going to be about a white suburban lady who tries to do bad stuff to teenagers of color? Doesn't that sound like an awful idea?
So I saw the headline, but I didn't know the synopsis. And
the director has made absolute trash too. So
listen, I
thought it was like Key and Peele or Keegan and Key. Is it Keel? Keegan Peele? Peele?
Keegan Michael Key and Jordan Peele. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, whatever. Both of them. I thought that maybe that would be a great movie if they made it.
a great movie.
If they made it.
That's not what we're getting.
But that's not what we're getting. Mother of pearl.
Someone who was just paying attention on Twitter and saying, you know what? I can make a movie in 3 weeks.
I mean, all they have to do is really just put clips of Karens all together. I mean, that's terrifying enough. I wouldn't watch that before bedtime.
Yeah. But I don't know if that means that. I don't know if that's Shaun basically saying that one of his picks is about to be a Karen. But we need to look out for that.
It would be an excellent middle name.
But yeah, I guess we're gonna keep it kind of short this week, guys. We don't have any pop-ins from the different captains, but we're gonna try to keep the shows brisk. Kia, you're always here and always welcome to continue to stunt on these hoes, as it were.
Yeah, I learned the crypt block the other day, just for all of you.
And Shaun, why don't you take this moment to shout out the Fantasy Comics League,
Yes.
without which none of this could be possible.
Yeah, so the Fantasy Comic League system is a tracking system created by Brian Bradley and myself that allows us to apply a scoring system that is broad enough in scope that you could apply it to anything. The Fantasy Comic League started off by applying it to Marvel, and now we're applying it to DC as well. And next week, my Katara book will be coming out, so we will be applying it to Dark Horse Comics, which sounded a lot better 6 weeks ago when I drafted this character.
Now, could you let some of the people know when your next seasons will be starting up?
I think we just started our first month, so August, September. So we are actually in the final season of the 2020 year. So we will not be having any new openings in the seasons until 2021, but hopefully for 2021, we might have a DC division about to take off.
Oh, that's disappointing for the people who are just finding out about Fantasy Comics League. Maybe we might want to work something out for the fall. No pressure.
Yeah.
And you guys have a Patreon as well, don't you?
We do. We have a Patreon in which we have multiple tiers. Our most basic tier is a giveaway tier. Everybody who donates to the Patreon, which is currently 3 subscribers, is entered in to receive the physical copies of many of the comics we purchase, just because we don't have storing for them as well. There's also a tier in which you can pay, and you can play using the base Fantasy Comic League system, and we will track your points and create scoring cards for you. And then there's the new tier, which we've created, that allows you to add a variation gameplay like Michael is doing with the racial draft.
And what's the Patreon? Is it Patreon/Fantasy Comics League?
It is Patreon/Fantasy Comics League.
So, I mean, hopefully you're at our Patreon at Patreon/Racial Draft. After that, go to Patreon/Fantasy and support us.
And also, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, check us out on Twitter on Fantasy Comic and then LG, because we couldn't fit League.
Fantasy Comic LG. Check us out. Hit us up. We've got big things planned in the fall and early 2021. Continue to support and continue to listen. Continue to share. I mean, we'd still love to hear your thoughts about what we're doing each week, and help Kia talk trash. And maybe if you're from a different delegation than the ones that we have represented in our 8, let us know if you'd like to see your delegation represented in season 2 of the racial draft. But, like I said, I think that's going to be it for us this week. So until next time, all things are possible.
All things are possible.